What it is, yo. JW turned G back in his bitch. You see, I typed in young ones, you feel me? Because I always got some crazy ass advice. Facing the end of this old world together, some wild shit. So we finna get into this shit and see what's popping with it. Also, I fuck with y'all for the views and for the comments and for the subscriptions and all that shit. I fuck with it. I'm just trying to keep this shit rocking as I continue to put this content out. You know what I mean? Because when I first started doing this shit, and I'm still, new in it and everything, but it was just like, fuck it. I really didn't give a fuck. It was just whatever, right? And now it's just, I've gotten to a point where there's so much brainwashing and control that goes on that I didn't even realize when I started. But as I go back and read through this shit and make these videos, I can see how much it is. So I just feel like, you feel me? I'm philosophizing out here. I feel like a motherfucking philosopher, a modern day Socrates. You know what I mean? That just talks about brainwashing control coming through this religious organization. So fuck with your boy. I appreciate everybody. I also threw my Venmo on that bitch. You know what I mean? JW turned G, just because anything helps. You feel me? And I'm creating my world, my universe, my shit right here, so I'm putting that out there. Yeah, appreciate all that. All the love, the likes, the comments, the subscribes, and I got the Venmo on that bitch, JW turned G. So let's get into this motherfucker, see what they talking about. Are you a young person? If so, you can be sure that you're an important part of Jehovah's worldwide congregation. In many countries, a large number of those getting baptized are young people. It is very encouraging to see so many young ones decide to serve Jehovah. No, nigga, that's weird as shit. As a young person, do you enjoy spending time with others your own age? Probably you do. Nigga. We like being with friends of our own age. Even so, Jehovah wants us to worship him together with all of our brothers. He wants his people to be united, no matter how old they are or what their background is. The Apostle Paul wrote that it is God's will that all sorts of people should be saved and come to an accurate knowledge of truth. And Revelation 7:9 describes those who worship God as coming from all nations, tribes, and peoples and tongues. And see, this is why weird shit be happening in these cults and organizations and religious shit like that, because, like, I get it, right? But they talking about they want the people to be united no matter how old they are, their background is. Okay, that means some creepy-ass 60-year-old nigga is going to try to be all buddy-buddy with the 15-year-old and want to take him under his wing. And it's like, my nigga, back the fuck up, yo. And the only reason I'm saying this is because it happens so much. And it's because of the shit like this. Now, I'm not saying you got to, like, middle finger to everybody that's older than you or fuck out of here. But it's just easier to get covered up in shit like this. Especially in an organization that thinks everybody in there is trying to find God and to serve God and they have God in their heart. And it's like, no, niggas have bad intentions in their heart. And they use shit like this to do it, and it gets covered up every fucking day. Like I said, the only reason why I'm saying it is because it's the shit that be happening. There's a big difference between young ones who serve Jehovah and those who do not. Many who do not serve Jehovah are interested only in themselves and in what they want. In fact, some researchers have said that young people today are more selfish than ever. The way they talk and what they wear show that they do not respect others, especially older people. Man, this shit crazy. That attitude is everywhere, so it takes a lot of effort to avoid it and to please Jehovah. Even in the first century, Paul warned Christians about having a similar attitude. He called it the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience. It is encouraging to see young ones in the congregation who are not like that. They want to serve Jehovah with their brothers. Man, they understand that the congregation is like a body with many parts or members that work together. As Paul wrote, we are members belonging to one another. That sounds weird. It will be even more important to be united with our brothers and sisters as we get closer to the end of Satan's world. The following Bible examples will help us see why we need to stick together. That is, to be united. And see, imagine you're fucking, 14, 15 growing up, and you're hearing all of this. You know what I mean? You're going to think that anything outside of this is bad, disobedient, the young ones aren't like that, the way they talk, the way they dress, and, you're going to look on Instagram and just confirm that. Oh, man. Let's see. Do I want to read this shit? United before Jehovah's day comes. We gonna read that. Members belong. Okay, we gonna read that. Oh, yeah. Okay, bet. Let's get into it. All right. Here we go. Very soon, we will face the most difficult time in human history. The prophet Joel describes it as a day of darkness and gloom. At that time, God's people will need to be united more than ever. Remember Jesus' words, every kingdom divided against itself comes to ruin. Man. I was going to say, I wish y'all could see the brainwashing and manipulation inside the congregation, right? But I think, or at least I'm trying to do my best to bring it to you through this, right? Because I can't take y'all niggas to the meeting, right? I'm not even going to go to the meeting. You know what I mean? But, like I said, nobody, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I don't want to say this shit be triggering me, but it low-key do, right? Because it's so different. It's so different. When you step out of this and you just kind of reason for yourself and think for yourself, you see all the shit that they do. And I was deep in that motherfucker. I was deep in there. You know what I mean? I always kind of wasn't really fucking with it low-key. Like, I always kind of wanted to do my own thing and shit. But I was deep in that. I was, yeah, dog. How united will we need to be? We can learn a lesson from the way houses were built in ancient Jerusalem. What? They were built so close together that the psalmist described the city as being joined together as one. The people felt secure because they lived so close together and could easily help and protect one another. The closeness of the houses may have reminded the psalmist of the tribes of Israel when they gathered as one nation to worship Jehovah. Now and in difficult days to come, it is very important that Jehovah's people remain joined together as one. Y'all see what I'm talking about? Y'all see what I'm talking about? Why will our unity be so important in the future? Ezekiel chapter 38 prophesies that the Gog of the land of Magog will attack Jehovah's people. That will not be the time to let anything divide us. It will also be a huge mistake to think that Satan's world will protect us. Instead, we will need to stick close to our brothers. Of course, we will not survive just because we are part of the group. We must personally trust in Jehovah and obey him. Then Jehovah and Jesus will bring us safely through the attack into the new world. But we must also remain united with God's people. Do you think that Jehovah will save those who decide to go their own way? Damn, what's this? What will help us survive when God attacks Jehovah's people? All right, so look, if I was going to raise my hand and answer, they call on me, right? And I would be like, well, we see the example in Ezekiel chapter 38 that prophesies that Gog of the land of Magog is going to attack Jehovah's people. So in order for us to survive, the paragraph brings out here that we don't want to just be a part of the group or attached to the brothers and sisters, but we want to make sure that we are trusting in Jehovah. We want to make sure that we are putting all of our trust and obedience into him. And then Jesus and Jehovah are going to bring us to safety. I had to tap back into that shit. Hey, but that's how you would answer that shit for real. And so what they're saying in this is that an attack is going to come on the world, right? Jehovah's people are going to be attacked. And that's going to signal the end of the world. So as long as you're close to the organization, well, like we said, not just close to it, but personally trusting him, then you will survive, right? And it says Jehovah and Jesus will bring us safely through that attack and into the new world, right? So the main hope for any Jehovah's Witness is to walk out of this system into the new system, meaning that when this war is happening, they're going to be in their bunkers or in the basements or wherever they're at praying and huddled up together. And then when everything is over with, only Jehovah's Witnesses are going to remain. And they're going to come out of these bunkers and basements, and the world's going to be all destroyed, and then they're going to start working to build it into a paradise. That's what that means. If you're a young person, can you see how wise it is to stay close to your brothers? Fight the tendency to spend time with only those your own age, or to distance yourself from the people around you. Soon, all of us, young and old, will need one another more than ever. Strengthen your friendships with your brothers and sisters now, and enjoy serving Jehovah with them. In the future, being united with Jehovah's people will save your life. Read this statement again. In the future, being united with Jehovah's people will save your life. Meaning, if you are not associated with Jehovah's Witnesses or one of the congregations, you're going to die. Straight up, that's what that means. That's what they're saying. The creator of the universe said that I'm running everything through Jehovah's Witnesses, and if you're not associated with them, you are going to die. That's what this says. Members belonging to one another. That shit just sounds weird. Jehovah's helping us to serve him shoulder to shoulder with our brothers and sisters. He's training us for the future when he will gather all things together in Christ. Jehovah's purpose is to unite all those in heaven and on earth as one family who worships him. And there's no doubt that Jehovah will do this. Young ones, you can be a part of that family forever. Do you want to be united with Jehovah's organization? All right, look, I'm gonna give y'all a random ass hot take. What did it say? It says Jehovah's purpose is to unite all those in heaven and on earth. Okay, random ass hot take. I personally feel like, I don't know, right? This is just me. Like I said, I just be brainstorming and thinking, I don't fucking know. But since nobody knows what happens after you die, nobody can say, oh, if you die now, yeah, you're going to be resurrected later into a better world, blah, 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 right? Because that was the whole point of the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve, to live in a paradise, right? But that got fucked up, so who says it won't again, right? So now, since nobody's come back to say what happens after you die, I feel like once you die, as far as like your life and who you were and everything, it's a wrap. Like, you're done. Like, once I die, I'll never be me again. I'll never have this again. Like, it's done. It's gone. I lived that life, right? This body is going to rot in the ground. It's over with. Now, what happens to your consciousness, I don't know, obviously. But I feel like something happens. It goes somewhere. It does something. I don't know, right? So I think that heaven and hell exist in your mind. And you choose where to live at now, depending on your thoughts and actions. It's some people that live in hell, and their lives is terrible because of the shit that they decided to do. It's some people that probably, if you ask them, they live in their own little heavenly paradise. And that's because of the thoughts and actions they decided to take. I feel like that's here and now, right? I feel like there's nothing that is outside of you. Everything is you. Everything is in you. Everything comes through you and because of you. So to say that, you're going to die and then this is going to happen, like, nobody knows that. All we know is what we have here and now, right? And niggas got the chance or decision to do and make and live whatever life you decide. And whatever life you decide, whatever path you decide to go down, there's going to be either good or bad on there. right? And depending on what it is, there's either going to be more good or more bad, but that path depends on you. But to say that I have to be associated to this organization and I got to go out in field service on Saturdays and to the meetings on Sundays and study just to live, just to survive because the creator of the universe said so, that don't make sense. That don't even sound like free will. That sounds like manipulation and control from a man-made organization. Deep breath. Deep breath. I be really saying some shit on here. Yeah. Another way Jehovah helps us learn to stick together is by means of the meetings. Here we go. Hebrews 10, 24 and 25 reminds us that the one reason we meet together is to encourage one another to do what is good. And we will need our meetings more and more as we get closer to Jehovah's day. Yeah, okay. Yeah. We can also strengthen our unity by praying for our brothers and asking Jehovah to help them in specific ways. Praying for our brothers will remind us how much we care about them. It is important to love our brothers, to encourage them at our meetings, and to pray for them. Young ones, here we go. Have you tried doing these things so that you become better friends with those in your congregation? To survive when the end comes, we will need to be close to our brothers, not Satan's world. That's why young people get baptized, because they don't know what that shit means. They read this, and they say, okay, if I don't do that, then I'm going to die. So I'm going to go ahead and get baptized because I don't want to die. That's literally the reason why. To survive when the end comes, my nigga. How long have they been saying this? I'm going to read this last one. Prepare now for Jehovah's day by doing all you can to be united with your brothers. When Satan's wicked world is destroyed, Jehovah will save his people just as he did in the past. Really. Whether you are young or old, you need to remain united with God's people to be saved. Right? Meaning, if you don't, you're going to die. In the next article, we'll discuss why we need to be thankful for what we have already received. Man, crazy, yo. Crazy shit. Like I said, all manipulation, control to try to get you to be a part of this organization. But if you sit with yourself in the silence and lock in on your goals, your aspirations, what you want, and then take action, bam, you're living in heaven. I don't know what the fuck these niggas talking about on here, though, man. Fuck with your boy, JW Turn G.